Good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Yeah, we'll wait other students join. Only you two are here. So
Okay.
Jehan.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so there are 6 students now. Can we start? Yes, you just tell me. Are there some more students as you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is it better to wait? Is that so? Okay, we'll wait for another 2 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start. So we are with the new subject today. Sometimes you may already know about the subject. The subject title is Sociology in Education. Okay, so sociology is a well-known subject, and then education is another field, and under this subject we are connecting, we are integrating, we are combining sociology and education. Let me show you the syllabus here. So these are the topics in the syllabus. The first main topic is education and sociology. Under that, there are four main areas. I have highlighted them. Introduction, relationship between sociology and education, meaning and nature of educational sociology, and then sociology of education. Under these themes, topics, there are subtopics also. So you can have an idea. And then this one, unit 2. There are 2 units. Under that, there are topics. Education in the social context. Okay, so here you can see education in the social context, education as a social subsystem, human rights education, education and the community with special reference to Indian society. I don't know why. So that is how it is there in the syllabus. Okay, I will be sharing this with you. So here we have to start with topic number 1. Introduction, unit objectives, relationship between sociology and education. It's like that. Let me share you the syllabus, not the syllabus actually, the first part here. Okay, hope you all can see this. Sociology of education, that is the subject, and these are the areas that we are going to touch today. Okay, just get an idea. Okay.
Okay.
Education and sociology, introduction, objectives, relationship between sociology and education, scope of educational sociology, aims of educational sociology. Okay, now according to this list of subtopics, we'll continue. Okay, just get an idea.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see. In our society, in our human society, education is an important component. Okay, so then education and society, they are interconnected. So then when we pay our attention to the history of human beings, even when we were there in jungles, the Stone Age, okay, like that, there was a type of education. Okay, now the education is visibly there as a separate sector in society. Okay, anyhow, you are intelligent enough to understand that education is a fundamental institution in any society. And then this unit under sociology in education, we are going to explore the relationship between sociology and education. Okay, so that's what you are going to study, the relationship between education and sociology. Under that, you will be observing the interconnectedness between these two. And interconnectedness. So there is a thick connection between these two. How sociological perspectives can help us understand the complexities of education system, and you will be going to study that also. How certain sociological perspectives help us to understand the complexities of education system. Okay, once again, basically under this topic, under this unit, we are going to study the interrelationship between education and sociology. I hope it is clear to you. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we'll get to know unit objectives. You see,
Okay, ma'am.
okay. So when we complete this unit 1, you will be able to define and explain the relationship between sociology and education. I know, still it's not something clear to you. But after we complete this unit, you will be thorough with that relationship. And then you will get to know the scope and aims of educational sociology. So what is the purpose, the aim, what are there in educational psychology, you will learn it. And then analyze the meaning and nature of educational sociology, including key theories. And you will get to know that also. And then discuss the sociological aspect of education, such as social interaction in the classroom, teacher-student relationships, and the influence of peer groups. Okay, you will get to know, or you will be able to discuss those things also after completing this unit. See, Okay. Are you still reading?
Finished, madam.
Okay. A relationship between sociology and education. Okay. Sociology and education, they are strongly interrelated that we discussed earlier. And then some people think education is just the process of transmitting knowledge and skills. It's not actually. It's not only that it's happening, but the definition on education is more broader than this. It is also a social institution that reflects and reinforces societal values, norms, and power structure. Okay, education is not just transmitting knowledge, it's a huge thing. It's a social institution, and inside that there are societal values, norms, power structures, and many more. Sociological perspectives help us understand how these social forces shape educational experiences, outcomes, and inequalities. Okay, so then under sociology and education, we can get to know how social forces shape educational experiences. Okay, how society, sociology affect education, and how education affect sociology. Okay, read this also.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So then still we are with the interconnection between sociology and education. It's a two-way relationship, two-way in the sense sociology affect education and education affect sociology. First, we'll talk about how sociology influences education. So they are interconnected. First, we are going to check how sociology influence education. So then one is to understand social factors. Okay, so when we study sociology, that helps us to understand social factors. So there are lots of social factors, the factors in the society. Yeah. Social context in which education operates. In this context, the education is also going on. So understanding these social factors is very important. Now we'll see what these social factors are. If I brief you, sociology helps to understand social factors. Okay, we'll see.
Okay, ma'am.
Correct. Okay. Cultural diversity. So then when we study sociology, we can get a clear idea about how cultural backgrounds and values influence learning style, classroom dynamics, and educational expectation. So if it is not clear to you, education is also happening in a society. So when we think about the classroom, so it is also a kind of society. So there are different students, different races, different religions. Okay, so when you are having this cultural background, cultural diversity, knowledge about cultural diversity, it helps for education. And then social change, how societal shift like technology advancement or globalization. Okay, so there are lots of changes in society. The technologically we have advanced, the certain theories, in theories we have advanced. Okay, so these things affect education also. Okay, technological advancement, for an example, technological advancement is something which happened in society. It's not basically about education, but that technological advancement directly affects education also. Here you see.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Then sociology helps us to identify social issues in education. There are some social issues related to education. For an example, educational inequality. Okay, so then that is something that we always talk. So when we think about the distribution of resources in education, so they are not equally distributed. But at last, the exam paper is common for those who studied with lots of facilities and those who studies without facilities. Education inequality. School violence and bullying. You know what it is? So based on certain social factors, some students are bullied. And maybe sometimes maybe they are from poor families, their parents are divorced, and just like these social issues, students are bullied by others, and that's a school violence kind of. A teacher burnout, the social and emotional demands placed on education. Okay, certain social and emotional demands are there. So even teachers will sympathize on those who are from very poor families like that. And we'll go further. Oh, sorry.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So, because of the certain social issues in education, so there are certain educational policies. So then sociological insight guide the developments of policies aimed at improving equality, because we got to know there are some social issues in education. So just to minimize them or else to address these social issues, there are some uh, development policies, educational policies are there. Purpose of these educational policies is to minimize certain social issues in the field of education. We'll see. So here we discuss how sociology influences education. Now we are going to study how education influences sociology.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. How education influences sociology. So then education is also a primary institution for socializing individuals. What is the meaning there? So think about a preschool or else grade 1. So that is the place where we started socializing individuals. So that there are unknown children from different backgrounds. So they started studying in the same class. It's a kind of socializing, transmitting cultural values. Okay, so just imagine in a class there are students from different cultural background. Sinhalese students are there, Muslim students are there, Tamil students are there. So they are transmitting cultural values and shaping social norms. Okay, we'll see how this is happening with examples. And okay, yeah, you see.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Social mobility. Okay, so then mobility in the sense the smooth going on. A mobile in singular we call chalanayamina. It's not stable, not at one place. Education is often seen as a pathway to social mobility. The society can move because of the education. So then if education is not there, the society will stay at the same place. It will not be moving up. And then education allow individuals to improve their socio-economic status. Okay, so the education is must to have a developed, improved society. So then sociolinguists, they search and they observe how education fulfills this role and how education hinder social mobility through it and the barrier. So education remove the barriers that hinder social mobility through education. So there are certain barriers which disturb social mobility. But education will remove those barriers. Okay, so there are lots of traditional viewpoints, the fear of people, lack of motivation, which hinder the development of the society. But education will find solution for this. If these things are not clear, you can ask, okay? Then social change.
Okay.
Yes. So society changes because of education. If education is not there, the society cannot change. So education is a kind of catalyst. Catalyst means a kind of stimulation for social change. Okay, so then sociolinguists, they study how education contributes to social movement and societal transformation. Okay, so there are huge changes in society since its beginning. But all these changes are because of education. Next.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, a sociolinguist might study. Okay, there are sociolinguists. So their task is to study social factors related to language. So that's a combination of sociology and linguistics. Okay, so they study how the hidden curriculum reinforces gender stereotypes. Okay, so there are certain gender stereotypes, how they are even in school curriculum, and then influencing students' career choices. So then the society affect what type of jobs they are going to do. For an example, in Sri Lanka, if you ask whom do you want to be when you grow old, all the students will say, I want to be a doctor. Okay, that is a kind of social stereotypical influences. And a researcher might investigate how socio-economic disparities in neighborhood impact access to quality school and educational resources. So, the rich people, they are having access to very good schools. But at the same time, those who are from poor families, they do not have proper access to proper education. Okay. So at the same time, an educated teacher might use a more inclusive classroom environment. Inclusive means everything is considered, everybody is considered. That values diversity and address the need of all students. Okay, so that knowledge is important. Okay. So when we understand the interrelationship between sociology and education, we can work towards creating a more equitable, just, and effective educational system. Okay, so then from this, what you need to understand is that education and sociology, they are interrelated. So there is a very strong connection between these two. Is this clear to you up to now? What we discuss is actually relationship between sociology and education. There, first we discuss how sociology influences education, and then we discuss how education influences sociology. Okay, is this clear to you all? Okay, is it clear? Okay, look at this. Okay, scope of educational sociology. So there we can see education sociology consists of a wide range of topics such as the social factors that influence access to education, the role of education, the impact of cultural and social capital, the relationship between, okay, so just like that, the scope of educational psychology is very huge. Now we'll look at them one by one. Okay, the social factors that influence access to education. And because of social factors, some students, they cannot have access to education. Okay, tell me whether you read this. Okay, the social factors that influence access to education. Several social factors can significantly influence access to education. We'll see what they are. So just study these social factors which affect education. Tell me when you finish reading.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so we are talking about, I will show you the topic, the social factors that influence access to education. Okay, number one, socio-economic status, income. So you know that is a non-factor. When the income level of the family is very low, they may struggle to go to school. And they are having problems related to transportation or even the basic necessities that support learning, like nutritious food. In Sri Lanka, very poor people, they cannot send their children to schools. They don't have money to pay for buses. They don't have nutritious food. And then parental education. Parents' education also affect uh, education of the student. Parents with very higher education, very good education, so they are having high expectations about their children. So that will affect positively to the education, but it's not always okay. And then access to resources. So then rich families will buy everything for their children. Okay, so they can go to extra tuition classes, extracurricular activities they can do. Okay, so that is an added advantage for them. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So then first one is what we discussed. I did not put numbers. Socio-economic status affect education. The gender, that also affect education. Okay, so now it has changed actually, but still it is practiced. So some societies, they believe education is not something for girls. It's something for boys. As I told you earlier, now it has changed a lot, but in the past, especially, education was only for boys. And then safety concerns, and most of the parents, they think that girls are not secured on the road. But boys, they guarantee a high security for boys. And then early marriage and pregnancy. Okay, all these matters are there with related to female gender actually. Okay, so then being a woman also affects her education. Is it clear? And then race and ethnicity. Okay, race and ethnicity. That is also a social factor, but it affects education. Discrimination, systemic racism can lead to underfunded schools in minority communication. Okay, so then even in urban area, we know certain schools are with lots of facilities, but at the same time, certain schools in even urban area, they have been neglected. Okay, here, then cultural biases. Curriculum and teaching methods may not always reflect the experiences and perspectives of minority students. So normally, when we see the curriculum, it always focuses on the majority of students. So minority of students, they are ignored actually. Yes, so next one, geographic location.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, geographic location. So that is also a kind of social factor. And if you know the two geographic location with reference to education is that rural schools and urban schools. And then most probably the schools with lots of resources and qualified teachers can be seen in urban area. But when we go to rural area, it's completely different. And then infrastructure. Poor infrastructure can create barriers to accessing education. And most of the schools in Sri Lanka, they do not have proper infrastructure. Next one.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, disability. Okay, so we know there are disabled students. Okay, so then the disability may be a problem for those students uh, to be out of school. And maybe when they cannot go to school as normal children, parents may keep them at home sometimes. But in countries like England, they focus more on disabled students. But still in Sri Lanka, there's no such system. Most of the disabled children, they lose their education. And then special needs supports. Okay, the purpose there is to supply adequate resources and support to the students with special needs. So there are some students with special needs. And so in urban areas, you might have noticed, you might have heard there are special classrooms for special needs students. Okay, social and cultural norms. Okay, you know, in certain areas, children are not expected to study, continue their education, but they are expected to be employed, work as laborers. And certain cultural belief, there are certain cultures which discourage girls to reach higher goals in education, and they don't want their girls to get higher education even though they are clever. Hi, okay, if I brief you, the social factors that influence access to education, we were talking about socio-economic status, gender, race and ethnicity, geographic location, disability, and social and cultural norms. There were 6 factors which affect sociology and education. Is that clear to you? Okay. So then now we are moving to the role of education in social stratification and inequality. Okay, just read.
Okay.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. Yes. Okay. The role of education in social stratification and inequality. Education plays a complex role in both perpetuating. Perpetuating means making something very strong, and potentially mitigating social stratification and inequality. We'll see what it is.
Okay.
Yes. How education perpetuate inequality. Perpetuate means make something strong. Unequal access. Okay. Earlier also we discussed all the people do not have equal access to education. For an example, children from low income families may attend underfunded school with fewer resources. The poor children are going to poor schools actually. While those who affluent families have access to private schools or exclusive educational opportunities. So rich people, they will put their children even into private schools and give them better education. And then the geographic location can also create disparities. Okay, so that means there are certain rural areas where people are marginalized and they may not be having qualified teachers in their schools. Tracking and sorting. What is that?
O-
Okay, tracking and sorting. Okay, that means the students are placed in different academic levels based on uh, perceived ability can reinforce existing inequalities. So students from disadvantaged backgrounds may be proportionately placed in lower tracks, limiting their access to rigorous coursework and future opportunities. Okay, so then in the same class, there are students who are having very good background. So then they will lower tracks, limiting their access to rigorous coursework and future opportunities. So there are poor children, there are rich children. Okay, while poor children, they will limit their education. The rich and affordable children will continue it smoothly. So that is the same idea.
o-
Okay. So then hidden curriculum, it refers to the implicit. Explicit means very clear. Implicit means it's not clearly visible, hidden. Lessons taught in school, such as social norms and expectations. Sometimes within the curriculum, there are certain lessons. The students can know about social norms and expectations. Okay, so then this also will uh, reinforce or will reinforce existing power structures and perpetuate stereotypes, disadvantaging students from marginalized groups. Okay, sometimes inside the curriculum also there are certain lessons which teach about social norms and expectations. This one.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. How education can mitigate inequality. What is the meaning of mitigate? The meaning is reduce. In Sinhala we call awama karanama, inequality. So then education should remove inequality. Social mobility education can serve as a pathway to social mobility. Okay, allowing individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds to improve their socio-economic status. Access to quality education can provide opportunities for upward mobility and break the cycle of poverty. Okay, so then social mobility should be there, and education is contributing it a lot, especially for those who are there with certain backward attitudes, maybe because of their social background, so they may be a bit backward. But education can minimize all these things, the negative attitudes, the backwardness, and it should create social mobility. Next.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Empowerment. Education empowers individuals with knowledge and skills, enabling them to participate more fully in society and advocate for social change. Okay, education encourage students to participate more in a society and advocate for social change. Okay, that is also happening. Critical thinking and social awareness. If something is good, I mean, if uh, the education is good, it fosters critical thinking, social awareness, allowing individuals to change existing inequalities and advocate for a more just society. And critical thinking and social awareness is also something very important. Read.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Important consideration. The role of education in social stratification is complex and varies depending on the specific context and educational system. Okay, we have to always think the role of education in social stratification is complex. So this process is very complex and it varies depending on the specific context. So then education is having a purpose to mitigate inequality. Okay, so then if it happens, the following issues may come. We'll see what they are. Okay. Reforming education system to ensure equal access. Reform means education should be amended. Education system should be amended. That is with the purpose of ensuring equal access, equity and quality education for all essential for creating a more just and equitable society. That is the most important purpose. Education should be equal to everyone. Okay, so just like this, you understood the complex relationship between education and social stratification. Okay, see this also. So what I thought of this time, soon after this topic, I will be giving you multiple choice questions and essay type questions. Okay, so then it's very good. So then it's not today, maybe next week. I will be giving you MCQ questions on the area we did today. Okay, so then when your exam is coming closer, there's nothing for you to study. So we'll do the exercise soon after the topic. Okay. Now we are moving to the impact of cultural and social capital on educational attainment. Okay, the impact of cultural and social capital on educational attainment. That means cultural and social capital and its impact on educational attainment. We'll see. So these are very general topics. These are not theories. Okay, cultural capital. Just get an idea. Okay. Are you reading? What is cultural capital? Cultural capital, the term refers to the non-material advantages that a person acquires through their social and cultural upbringing. Okay, so if you get some advantage, but that advantage should be non-material. It cannot be a present, it cannot be money, but it's something non-material. This includes knowledge, skill, habit, and attitudes. Okay, some people are having very high positive attitudes, while some are not. And when we study the background, actually, those who are having positive attitudes, they are from well-educated, rich backgrounds. Next. So now we are talking about this cultural capital. So what is cultural capital? Okay, read this also. Where we were reading here. Okay. Impact of education.
Okay.
Habits and attitudes. Okay, cultural capital. That means non-material profit can influence students' study habit, work ethic, and overall approach to learning. So then, if the students are from families where they value education and intellectual pursuits, so they are having more interest to develop their positive habits.
Okay, ma'am.
And knowledge of hidden curriculum. A cultural capital can help students navigate the hidden curriculum of school, which include the unspoken rules and expectations that are not explicitly taught. Okay, so students with higher cultural capital are often more aware of these norms and can better adapt to the school environment. Okay, so hidden curriculum, something called hidden curriculum is there. It has been included the unspoken rules and expectation. Okay, so then students with higher cultural capital are more often aware of these norms and can better adapt to the school environment. Okay, so the students who are with higher cultural capital, they are having more access to school environment. See next one. Okay, here we talk about cultural capital is there. Then social capital. See what it is.
Okay.
Okay. So what is social capital? Now you know cultural capital we discussed, that is some non-material advantages. So what are social capital? So that is about the networks of relationship and connection that an individual has access to. Okay, so then how far you are having a network of relationship. So that is if you are having a network of relationship and connections with connections that an individual has access to. So you are having a very good social capital. And we'll see what they are. Okay, impact of education. Access to resources. Students with strong social capital may have access to tutors, mentors, and other resources. Now you know what social capital. That is about the net, having a network of relationship. Okay, so if a student is having that, that means social capital, the student has access to uh, more resources, and that may lead to achieve academic success. And then navigating the education system. In navigating the education system, social capital can help students navigate the complexities of the education system, such as applying to college or finding scholarships. Okay, the social capital, when students are having connections with others, that will help them to get certain job opportunities, or to find some membership. You know how it is helpful when you know lots of people, you can simply give them a call and get some support from them.
Okay.
Sorry, okay, parental involvement. Okay, so then some parents are having a very strong social capital. That means network of relations in the sense network of connections. So when they are having it, their children also will get the benefit. That means attending school events, volunteering, and advocating for their needs. That way, the parents will support their children. Okay, we were talking about cultural and capital. How do you what is the term that we cultural capital? Okay, cultural capital and social capital. Cultural capital is about, what is it about? Cultural capital? Non-material advantages. Then social capital is about having lots of connections. Okay, so then cultural and social capital often interact and reinforce each other. Okay, example, students from families with higher cultural capital may have better access to school, access to social networks that can provide them with the valuable educational opportunities. Okay, so then okay, quickly read this. Okay, important consideration. Cultural and social capital are not evenly distributed across society. Students from privileged background often have greater access to these form of capital, which can perpetuate educational inequalities. Okay, so having a cultural and social capital uh, is a privilege actually.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so here Schools can play a role in mitigating. Mitigating means minimizing the impact of cultural and social capital by creating inclusive and equitable learning environment that value diversity and support all students. That you can understand. It's very lengthy, but idea is okay. The schools should play a role to mitigate the impact of cultural and social capital. And that can be done creating inclusive and equitable learning environment. And then by understanding the impact of cultural and social capital, educators can develop strategies to help all students succeed. Okay, so then if as students, you should have a very good idea about cultural and social capital. Okay, so when you get that proper understanding, uh, the for an example, educators can develop strategies to help all students succeed regardless of their background. Okay, so once the student understand the advantages of social capital and cultural capital, so they also can develop strategies to help all students succeed. Okay, we'll do this also. Let me check. Is this the last one? So, okay, we'll do this.
Okay.
Okay. Social awareness and activism. Okay. So then the education can create a social awareness and sense of social responsibility in individuals. So this should be the target of teaching students. This can inspire them to engage in social activism and work towards a more just and equitable society. Okay, so that's what we have to do. Okay. Educational system continuously evolve to reflect the changing needs and demands of society, because we know society is also changing. So society is not something that will be like that forever. So when the society changes, that influence education system also. We go to the next one. Addressing social issues.
Okay, ma'am.
Oh, addressing social issues. So there are certain social issues in our society, such as poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, and public health concerns, some of them. But so education should play a very important, crucial role in addressing pressing social issues. Okay, so there are lots of social issues. Education system should be able to minimize them. Promoting diversity and inclusion. Education, so then diversity, you know, you can understand different types. Inclusion means all should be included. Okay, you can read it and understand. Okay, now you have some examples, then you will understand. Okay, hope you are reading this example.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, read.
Oh,
Okay. So for an example, civil rights movements in America, United States was fueled by education. Okay, so when people are educated, they stand against their injustice. So they want to demand their rights. Okay, so then in United States also there was a very famous civil rights movement. The secret behind that is actually education. And you know, most of the people, they don't know that they have problem that is due to lack of education. But once they are educated, they are well aware of them and they will stand against them. And then the rise of the internet and digital technologies has revolutionized education. Okay, so that is another example how society affect education. That digital technology, internet, digital, when we were schooling, when we were in universities, we were not having internet facilities, very limited technology, just like overhead projectors, even multimedias were not there. But now those technologies are everywhere. And then education plays a critical role in promoting sustainable development. Okay, sustainable development means no harm should be there from the development to any side. Yeah, the development should not harm environment. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. The relationship between education and social change is complex and multifaceted. So you can understand our topic is relationship between education and social changes. They are very complex. The relationship is very complex and there are different aspects. Education can both drive and be driven by social change. Education can drive society, and this education can be driven by society. Both are there. Access to quality education is crucial for ensuring that all individuals have the opportunity to participate in and contribute to social change. Okay, access to quality education is a must. Okay, when everyone is having access to quality education, they can contribute to social change. So whether we can complete it itself, no, there are many more. We simply will discuss what we did today. Let me go to the beginning. Okay, the topic we started today is sociology of education. Okay, sociology of education. So there, I showed you the topics. The syllabus is very lengthy, but here I showed you some of them. Out of here, we are still with 1.2. Don't worry, we can complete it. So there, first we discussed the introduction, what is education, what is sociology, just like that. And then objectives we discussed. Okay, then we came to this major topic, relationship between sociology and education. So then we got to know sociology influences education, whereas education influences sociology, vice versa. And then we discuss how this is happening. Here, the social factors that influences access to education. Okay, there are some social factors which affect the access of education. So these are the things we discuss. And then we discuss the role of education in social stratification and inequality. Okay, both sides. So earlier we discussed how education affects sociology, then here society, and then here how society affects education. And then the impact of cultural and social capital on educational attainment. We were talking about cultural capital. Cultural capital is a non-material advantages. Then we discuss about social capital, that is the networks of relationships and connections. And then we went to the relationship between education and social change. And that's what we were talking. And after this, there are two more. The social organization of schools and classroom. And the other one is the social and cultural dimensions of teaching and learning. Okay, today, so that is the end of this slide, but we have to do two more subtopics here. But anyway, I will be sharing this slide with you all and get ready for answering multiple choice questions on this slide next week. Okay. I will complete the remaining two areas and I will be giving you a paper in the sense both of us will be answering. Okay. Shall we wind up the session then?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. See you next week then.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, now itself I will share the slides.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Sorry.
Through WhatsApp, madam.
WhatsApp in the sense, shall I share it with Mr. Rishad? And if I send it to you, can you also share with others? Sumeya?
Madam, please share Sir Rishad, sir, madam.
Okay, okay. I will share it with Mr. Rishad. Okay. Okay. Okay, then shall we wind up the session?
Okay, madam.
Okay, good night.
Good night.